G'day guys, and welcome to another time-lapse traditional one. This time though, it's of well, you can't really tell right now, but if you're reading the title, you'll know that it's Morbius of the Marvel comics, Spider-Man villain. I guess he's the vampire, but he doesn't really drink blood like a regular vampire would. He's the, I think it was like, he sucks plasma from his hands or something like that. Some weird thing like that. Anyway, figured I'd record a time-lapse video since it's been a while since I recorded a traditional one. I know the more recent ones have been digital ones, which were from my Twitch stream originally. This one I didn't actually stream. I didn't really feel like streaming. I kind of wanted some background music, and no, it wasn't actually music. I think I was watching a movie while I was working on this, but yeah, I didn't really feel like streaming. But here's the video anyways, now that it's done. It's, I think, the second time that I've drawn Morbius. The first time I drew him was actually in a time-lapse video from last year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the year before. I don't know. It feels like it's been that long. But yeah, this is the second time drawing Morbius. I definitely like this one a lot more. While I enjoyed the first one, it was still an experimental piece because I had done that one using watercolors, and I mean, even now I'm still not too confident with watercolors, but this one, it's more to my traditional means, which is, you know, what is it, a Pentel brush pen and Copics for colors. I've started using the chisel end recently just to fill in space, but boy does it use up ink, constantly refilling. But it's fun. It's fun because you never really know the results. At least, you know, there's lots of experimenting with that anyways. This piece is still, like most pieces, it's just trial and error. I really don't know how the end result's going to look like, but you just hope for the best. With Morbius's cape wing thing, it's supposed to be red underneath and darker on top, but I decided to, for this piece in particular, just invert it somewhat, because otherwise it would just be a very dark piece. I wanted the reds to stand out a bit. Threw in Spider-Man there because, you know, just because he's a Spider-Man villain, so I just threw a bit of him in there. He's, you know, defeated by Morbius. Coloring the red section on Spider-Man was actually pretty fun. Just, I tried to do it so that I don't go over the webbing so that you see the webbing. But because of that, it was also somewhat of a pain to have to avoid coloring over the webbing. But I think the end results looked pretty good, so it was worth it in the end. Yeah, I don't know. Spider-Man is definitely super fun to work on though. And I'm glad I got to include him into this piece. But yeah, Morbius's outfit is still very bizarre to me. Like, his pants kind of go into his boots or whatever it is. And I wanted to stick to the proper reference. I didn't want to, you know, I guess put my own spin somewhere. I mean, I already did in the face to an extent, but I think his look, even while it's super simple, it's somewhat his look specifically. Like, no one else looks like him. Coloring the skin for this was tricky because I wasn't really sure what colors he is initially, because he's super pale. So I think I mixed like the lighter, cool and warm grays and like a really pale tone that I would normally use for flesh. I think it worked out. It's got this pearl-ish look, minus the violet of a pearl, because there's like this hint of violet in pearl. But no, I didn't include violet. I was going to, but I opted not to. But yeah, I kind of like how the top part, you can see the strokes of the markers, especially the chisel end. I think it's a neat effect.